Today's episode of Producing For is sponsored by Tracklib. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Stefan and you're watching Producing For, the series where I take an artist and attempt to produce for said artist. This week I'm attempting to produce for Ty Dolla, and I'm using these services of Tracklib to source a sample that I can use in my song and release without finding myself in court. Tracklib is basically an online record store for sampling. They have a ton of records across many genres and decades that we can, through the website, get sample clearance to legally use in our tracks. It's fast and it's affordable, especially compared to the alternative. So let's have a dig and see what we can find. The records are organized in a number of different ways, which I think is great, especially if you don't quite know exactly what you're after. With these options, you might just stumble across something and that inspire you.
When you got what you want, yet you still don't have what you need.
But I know what I'm after in this instance, so I can use the filters to narrow down my search, or I can just jump straight to my genre, which is going to be R&B. But quickly before we do that, if you notice on this record here, it says 10 multi-tracks. Some of the records on Tracklib have stems, which is fantastic. These are individual instruments which make up the track as a whole. This is perfect, especially when it comes to removing drums or vocals. Or maybe you just want the vocals. Or maybe you just want that dope trombone line. And that's exactly what J. Cole found when he was browsing Tracklib, checking out some of the multi-tracks, and he used it in Middle Child. But I'm going to quickly jump to a record I found in the R&B genre, which I favorited and purchased using my credits earlier in the interest of time. It's called Slip Away and it's by Phase 7. And I'll talk about Tracklib and how it works in terms of downloading records, licensing fees, and royalty splits towards the end of the video. Right now I'm keen to get started on this beat. So I'm going to play the part I sampled, which is just the intro here, and I'm going to show you how I flipped it. Let's head over to my machiner and I'll show you how I flipped it. To achieve this result, I imported the downloaded record into Logic, chopped just the section I wanted to sample, then loaded it into the quick sampler. Then using the slice function and beat mode, I was then able to chop up the sample fairly quickly. I then pitched the sample up. And then I threw on halftime, which changed the sound completely. And finally, I rolled off the top end to leave room for my own melodic endeavors and rolled off the bottom to allow for more freedom in what notes I played in the bass. Cool, let's add some drums. When using a sample like this with so much instrumentation, there's not a huge amount more you need to add, but I'm going to add a simple synth line melody over the top, keeping Ty Dolla in mind. And finally, let's add some bass to this, and I'm going to use an 808 bass. On his new record, it's just full of 808s, to be honest. He has a couple of songs I think that's more soulful, with like real bass guitars and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. But for the majority of the album, it's all trap drums, 808 basses, you know. So that's what we're doing here. Cool, so I'm liking the way that sounds. I think it kind of has that Ty Dolla swag in terms of the drum pattern and the bass. Cool, so for the chorus now, I want to change it up and get rid of halftime and try something new with our sample and see how we can flip it again to create ourselves a chorus. Cool, so I think with the changed drums that I put in as well, it sounds good. I like that. Now I want to add some chords over the top of this, but when I've already got some sort of harmony, I kind of like to start with the bass. Once I place my bass notes down, I'll know exactly what chords will work over the top of what already exists. Cool, so we've got our bass in place. Now let's add some chords. Let's add back in our square lead. And we're done. All that's left for you to do now is to check out Tracklib. You can use the link down in the description below to get yourselves 15 free tracks to download and 30 days free. And after that, Tracklib starts at $5.99 a month for access to a growing library of over 100,000 records. Each monthly plan gives you a set number of credits, and these credits are then used to download records from the site, in which you can then sample in your DAW. Then, if you decide you want to release the song you made using said record, you can then license it through Tracklib for a licensing fee. Each record on the site is put into either one of three categories: A, B, or C. Each category has its own licensing fee, A being the most expensive and C the cheapest, with over 90% of the records on Tracklib being category C. The final part is the revenue share, and it's calculated by how much of the record you use in your song. This is not the overall length of your song, but the length of the sample, or the combined length of the samples you took and used. So there's a few steps, but in comparison to the alternative, it is relatively simple, quick and easy, and extremely affordable. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment down in the comment section below. You know all this stuff. I've been Stefan, and as always, happy beat making.